Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Arlene Miller. She is a work life balance coach, also a Colorado attorney. Welcome to the show, Arlene.
Thank you for having me here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We will be talking about mindfulness and how one can reduce stress and make their life full of joy and happiness. Arlene brings a wealth of training and experience to help a lot of people compassionately and wholeheartedly lead them and lead them to create the life that works and feels right for them, a life where they experience less stress and more patience, kindness and peace, a life where they can experience more contentment and joy. So my first question to you, uh, Arlene, is to understand first, about a bit about your background, and also why an attorney is into this particular space isn't that much more lucrative, and much more in that sense it is much more peaceful and joyous for an achiever like you.
Well, I decided that I want to be an attorney when I was very young, about 15, and I did become an attorney. And I help people in like divorce and child custody cases, and I also help businesses in commercial law. And while I was an attorney, I got a diploma in coaching and mentoring just to assist me in my communication and negotiation skills, helping me work with the attorneys and the staff that was working for us so that I could be a better boss. And I also got a
Right.
diploma in holistic counseling to help with communication and empathy and really being able to listen to people. And I don't know, it just after a while, I enjoyed the practice of law, but I was just ready for something new. And this felt like my life's calling to help people with coaching and mentoring when it came to all of this. So yeah, that's my
Right.
that's my story in short form.
Right, Arlene. Right. Now, when we talk of, work life balance, when we talk of, mindfulness, ways of reducing stress, uh, why is it that some people have a lot of stress? Isn't their choice to get into a particular line that they do not have? Like you made that choice to find
I
a
don't
life of
know.
yours. So why
Well,
is it that they get that choice, and then they get that stress and everything along with that? What can others do? Isn't Doesn't it all start from the person itself who's making that choice?
yes, I mean, we do choose, but when my parents were growing up, you had a choice of having like a one income family, and that was able to support everybody. And that's just not the way the world is anymore. So, you don't have a choice if you want to have children, usually that you have to work unless you're born or you marry into a very wealthy family. So, in order to survive, in order to be able to provide for your family, um, we have two income families now. And so that places a lot of stress on people, and also the way the world is today places a lot of stress on people. And so it's a big balancing act because you want to be a good parent, you want to do good at work, you have all these other things you need to take care of yourself. So it's a different world than the world that I was born in, and my mother elected to stay at home.
Right, right. That was a different world. Today is a different world. A lot of us are getting so many tools to, unburden our life. But you see, all the productivity tools are not all are making us more productive. Everyone talks about more time in your hands, but in fact, they are scrolling more rather than utilizing their time. That is what I'm trying to understand in today's time. How does one get started with, with this work life balance, especially in the backdrop of the great resignation already on, the quiet quitting on? It was because there was no work life balance. Can we
Yeah.
retrace our steps here? Help us a bit about with
Yes.
this backdrop, which is very much a reality of today.
Yeah, of course we can. And a lot of people don't know how. And some of the basics people know about, but they don't apply them to their lives. One very basic thing to bring that mindfulness, to bring that work-life balance to is breath work. I mean, we have to breathe to live. So we can breathe anytime, any place. And we don't necessarily have to take off a block of time to make it happen. For example, if we breathe in through our nose and out through our nose, and our out breath is longer than our in breath, it takes our body physiologically out of fight or flight response and into rest or relax mode. We might have to do it for 10 minutes or so, but we can breathe like this in the checkout line in the grocery store. We can breathe like this when we're listening to somebody else talk. So we can engage in very basic breath work techniques that tell our bodies that it's okay to release, relax, and let go while we're going about our day to day life.
Right, right, Arlene. This you can do, but why don't people do then? Why is it that they breathe all the time, but they do not do this mindful breathing, which can help them gain so much of benefits?
I think a lot of people just don't know about it. Their parents didn't teach them. They get married young or they have a career or whatever's happening in their life, they just don't take the time to learn this. I didn't learn this when I was growing up. There was nothing about breath work when I was growing up. And although it seems really, really basic to you and I, a lot of people have not been introduced to it. So hopefully with a podcast like this with something really, really simple, and some simple breathwork techniques that I can share. And of course, there's all kinds of breathwork techniques on YouTube. People can begin to practice them and see if they work for them. I can't go behind the scenes in people's minds and guess why or why not they do things. But from my personal experience, my parents didn't know about it, so they didn't pass it on to me. So I think it's our job, as coaches and mentors, um, and other holistic people that we know about these kind of mindfulness techniques to share it with the world so more and more people learn about them and begin to apply them.
Right, right, Arlene. You talk about work life balance, you talk about mindfulness. Are they both related things or two different things?
Oh, you know that they're related because if we're going to have a balance in our life, we have to do it from the inside out. Because you were talking about this to begin with. There's all these like life hacks and work hacks and mom hacks that tell you how to organize yourself. And they can bring you more time and space to do things. But if you don't take care of how you're feeling on the inside, that stress and overwhelm that you feel on the inside, then nothing is really going to change on the outside. So mindfulness techniques and other life affirming techniques that we can delve into that are very simple, simply like getting out in nature, enjoying nature, enjoying her beauty. It's a very, very calming way to bring our blood pressure down, to feel more grounded and fully present in our hearts. So, yes, they are very much related, and it's very important to start from the inside out.
Right. Does only mindfulness will help? Will it be? Will does it have the capacity to change our lives, or is it beyond that? What are the other things uh, that one should, uh, also do along with mindfulness? What do you advise to some of these people who come to you for life balance? Is one thing enough, or there are other things related to it?
Of course, there are other things related to it. And I just want to add that
Right.
mindfulness is like how we live our life. So even if we're washing the dishes, even if we're walking through a doorway, we can slow down and do it with more mindfulness, with more breath work, with more awareness of what we're doing instead of just rushing from one task to the next. But of course, there's exercise is helpful. It helps to let go of stress. It helps to strengthen our body. It helps to take care of our physical body, our emotional body, and our mental body. And so simple exercise, of course, can go together with mindfulness. Now, some like yoga and some in Tai Chi, there's certain forms of exercise that are about mindfulness, but it doesn't have to be like that. It can be anything that you love. It could be kickboxing, it could be karate, it can be running. And running, I feel, is a kind of mindfulness. I used to run when I was young, and you just get out there about 15 minutes out, and you're on the road and you're running, and something happens, something clicks into place, and you just go into a different state of being. So the answer to your question is yes, and there's many things out there that can help us to release, relax, and sort of soften and let go.
Right, right, Arlene. Now, mindfulness and workplace. If I am in a better state of mind, do I have the capacity to change my workplace? Because my workplace is where which decides about my work life balance. A lot of people believe it that way. That's why they keep on changing their jobs or become part of the great resignation. How do you handle your peace of mind in a toxic workplace where in today's time there are so many of them, and that's a huge debate that's already going on. Workplace is one which will decide your work life as well as your personal life, or to a great extent. How do we start, disentangling ourselves from the mess that we are living in for so many of people?
Yeah, toxic workplace is a really difficult thing. It really depends where the toxicity is coming from. If we're allowing ourselves to be impacted by other people's opinions and judgments of us, we can change that. We can cleanse and clear ourselves energetically and make it so that, other people's opinions we just don't care about. But if it's really a toxic thing where we're being attacked and abused, it's not a good place to be. It's not a healthy place to be. So, yes, it is good to get out of there. I don't know if that's my area of expertise to tell people how to get out of workplace situations that don't work for you, other than, sometimes we need a coach or we need a mentor just to help us find the self determination, the tenacity, and the willingness to step out of our comfort zone and apply for a new job, or just do something new, go into business for ourselves. And that can be often, that uncertainty can be very scary for a lot of people. So I really recommend that one way to do it is either with coaching, mentoring, or there's lots of groups out there, either online or in person, where people have a common goal. For example, to find a new job where it's not
Right.
toxic, and you're working together with other people, and then you get that synergy of like a group of souls working together for the same purpose that can help everyone step together into a new place, and they're not alone. So those are a couple of things that I would recommend.
Right, Arlene. Now, one of the things we normally face in our life is a lot of work, huge amount of work. We feel overwhelmed. You
Yeah.
start the day, you have ended the day well, but when you start, there is still so much of work to begin with, and it can be very overwhelming, especially, you reach office and you had already a lot of work and some more work has come. How do you then, do you first look at the work, or should you go and start, doing some breathing itself? So how do you manage when you have a lot of work on your plate?
Right. Well, breathing always helps. I don't think we should ever stop breathing. And
Right.
if we don't breathe, we're going to die. But we can always practice this kind of breath work. We can make it a habit in our lives. As we're going to work, as we're doing mundane things where we don't have to focus on something, we can always focus on our breath work. But what I
Right.
find with people is they place unrealistic expectations on themselves. So they have a to-do list that for one day that could take a whole week. And what that
Right.
does is it sets them up for failure. So when we decide what we're going to do during that workday, we need to really be clear on what are our priorities, what absolutely has to be done today, and put that into our to-do list, get that done first, and you have this feeling like everything else is icing on the cake. Because otherwise, the thing that we really need to get done, that's really weighing on our shoulders, if we're procrastinating and putting it off, the whole day we're going to be in overwhelm and stress, even if we're getting a lot of other things done. So, one way to have self care is to take care of that biggest thing that's weighing on our shoulders first, and then relax, to get everything else done. So, yes, it's about taking away all those expectations we put on ourselves, which is really a form of heavy judgment, and it's not particularly kind.
Right, Arlene. You also talked about gratitude, the relation between gratitude and work-life balance. Help us understand that a bit better than perhaps some people already know a bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's heard about gratitude. The problem that happens is that we start doing it in our head, and it's not going to have any impact on us if we work with gratitude from our head, or we think that something has to happen for us to be grateful for before we start being grateful. But what we can do that's very, very simple, because we're really taught to like covet or be jealous of people that have more than us, and we always want more. So, what is really simple is just to look around your house or your apartment, wherever you live, and be grateful for what you've already manifested in your life. I have a roof over my head. I have a comfortable bed to sleep in. I have hot water for a hot shower or bath. I have food in my fridge and my pantry. I have transportation to get to where I need to go. I have people in my life that I love and love me. And if we really step back and really look at what we have and what we've manifested and created and be really grateful for that every day, it's like a foundation for us to start being grateful for more and more things in our life. We don't have to make it complicated, but it's really important when we play with gratitude that it's not a head thing. It's something that we genuinely feel in our hearts. So that's what
Right,
I would advise people to start with.
right, Arlene. The problem is that, we all may have gratitude, but we also keep on looking, or looking and feeling that the grass is greener on the other side. And that is when you start taking steps either in relationships. You uh, you have a very good life going on, and perhaps something happens and you start looking at something else along the way. It's the same with job also, the same with everything that we are doing. And some people give that explanation that it is okay to be ambitious. It is because it is okay to look at more success, look at more choices in life. Where does gratitude then fit in? Many people may think, okay, it is good to be to be full of gratitude, but it should not come in my way of just stalling me in the name of just feeling gratitude. I should look at everything that is beyond that, that is there, that I should have to win in life. How do people bring that gratitude with this sort of a mindset that is very much prevalent nowadays?
Well, I can't change what anyone thinks or anyone does. I guess from my perspective with my life, my view is that the only thing that really matters when I die is that there's more love on the planet than when I was born. I don't need to be the richest woman in the graveyard. What am I doing that for? Yes, I want to provide for myself and provide for the people that I love. But if someone makes another choice that really is not about love, but about acquiring more and more things, that's their choice. But there also can be a lot of emptiness that comes with that. Just because you have more things doesn't mean you're going to be happy, that you're going to feel satisfied and joyful in your life. And maybe some people need to learn that the hard way through the school of hard knocks. They get more and more stuff. Does it make them happy? So I guess my solution is, I mean, you can have a beautiful home, you can have nice things, but I feel that it's the quality of life and what we give back to the world that also matters. And people have to make the choice of what's important to them in their life. And I can't change anyone else but myself. I can lead by example, and where people want to go with that, it is really their choice.
Absolutely, Arlene. It's all about choices. Now, what about the choice of success as well as joy? You talk about calmness and joy in our lives. People
Yeah.
want to succeed, people want to have success in life, nothing wrong with that. Is it about the way we describe our success that takes away our joy, or is it something wrong which we with which we are seeing? Our success, can success and joy be very much related? Can they walk together, or are they two different things?
Success and joy can definitely go together. If you really love what you do, of course you're going to feel joyful. You can just feel joyful for the joy of feeling joyful. We don't have to. I find that if people want to be happy, they're looking for outside of themselves to feel good. But joy is something that wells up from within, a state of being that we can hold. And one of the things we can do to be successful is to focus on what we're moving towards. That's that law of attraction. What we focus on is what we get more of in our lives. If we're focusing on engaging in activities and the things that bring us joy, we're going to have more joy in our life. If we focus on the success that we'd like to create for ourselves in our life, especially, like the universe is going to get behind us if we're being of service to others. That's what we're going to be focusing on. So it's really important for people to pay attention. Am I focusing on what I don't want? Everything that I'm frustrated about, I'm angry about, I'm upset about? We're just telling the universe will have more of that. So make sure that you're focusing on what you actually are choosing to create in your life. And experiencing joy is a choice. And yes, it's maybe something that we need to practice, but working with gratitude and having that foundation of gratitude for what we have already created in our life does
Right.
help us to bring more joy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is much to learn from you about these things, Arlene, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to learn more about all these things from you. Also, learn about your coaching and get a better work life balance for themselves. So, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
Well, I hope you'll put it in your caption here, but
Yes,
if you're in the United States or Canada, my you can reach me at 720-936-2634. My website is jewelconsultancy.com, and I'm sure you'll put that in the credits somewhere. So if you want to connect through with me through the website, I'm also on LinkedIn under Arlene Cohen Miller. So you can find me no matter where you live, and I would love to connect with you.
wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.